All right. The magic of technology. I just did like a poof and Chris Connections appeared.
Yo.
So, Andre, I think I met you 15 years ago,
Wow. Okay.
right?
It's been a while.
I don't think it was 15 years.
That's a long time. I know I'm old, but
high school.
Yeah, right. Not for me, but 15 years ago was a blur.
Yeah,
Maybe 10.
So yeah, all right. Yep. So about 10 years ago, you just started this community journey as well.
Somewhat. I've been on the journey for a while. I've been in the trenches. I like to think of myself as as the godfather to a lot of this stuff, from
Okay.
social media, digital media, websites, mobile apps, things like that. So.
Right. You said you were one of the first people promoting the website before people even started.
Well,
using
yeah,
it.
right. And so when I started streetvision.com, it was a website that promoted black-owned businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get them to buy into being a part of this directory was a misnomer, because no one had a computer. It's like, so I'm trying to promote a directory that people had to access via computer when they didn't have a computer, and so it wasn't as tangible for businesses to even be a part of it, because they themselves didn't have a computer. Why would Why
What
would
year
they?
was this?
Oh, I started this in '99. 2000. Yep. So, and I myself didn't have a computer. An interesting fact. I ended up getting a computer, but I had the idea. I was always techie, and I had friends who had a computer. We would do the DAWs, and we would be hacking and all this cool stuff. And I started reading tech magazines and things. What's about to happen with technology? You'll be able to log on and pop a camera into a radio station or whatever, and look at the stream online.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think one day I was a fan of Mason, WJLB, Mason in the Morning. He was going to be at Little Rock Baptist Church. I said, I'm going to go down there and meet Mason. I'm a big fan. Plug him in every morning. And went up to him, hey, Mason, I'm a photographer. I'm, big fan. He said, oh, you're a photographer. Can you come to the station tomorrow at 6 o'clock? I said, yeah. 6 o'clock in the morning? Oh, wow. Okay. Jeez. That's a little early. So
I'm glad you showed up.
Yeah, I showed up. And so that spawned the first time being inside of a radio studio. Like, wow, what if we had a camera inside the studio? Because listening is amazing and funny. What if you can see it? Because what you saw was even funnier. So being a part of that experience. Another sideways to the story, Grant Hill had just got signed to the Pistons.
Okay.
I was there to photograph Grant Hill. Whole another crazy story happened because I bought this not a used camera, and it just messed up my whole shoot. But anyway, but that started the process for me with the vision of doing this web platform. And actually, when I wrote it, it was to design or do WJOB's website. And it was their concept that I was trying to sell to them. And Vernon Green, the manager at the time, said, "Yeah, that's great. Let's do it, but you got to go through corporate." And so when I went through corporate, come to find out they had just formed a company to design all the websites for the radio stations that they own. And they said, "Well, you can do it, but once we come aboard with our thing, we're going to kind of like cannibalize whatever you're doing." And so I said, "Oh, they're going to steal my idea."
Basically.
I said, "Oh, shoot." So what am I do? What am I do? And so there was a cyber cafe that had just opened up on Woodward, right where the Welcome Center is now, I think, in Wayne State. And I went down there. It was kind of like, a co-op, the original co-op working space kind of thing. Where you go in and go on the computer, do your resume, and so I went in there and registered the domain. Like, what can I come up with? Street Vision. From the streets, I got this vision. And then streetvision.com was born. So, and I sat on it for probably 2 years before I launched that. And when I launched it, I think WJLB didn't launch their website for 2 years later.
Okay.
And so that was
launched. So you got in. So 1994, and then you did the website, got the domain name in 1996, and then WJLB did their website job in 1998.
Something like that. So
Okay.
maybe it's a little pushback. Maybe they started theirs
I'm basing it off of Grant Hill's draft day.
Okay. Okay, well, if that's the dates, then yeah, you probably right on there, yeah. If you know his stats like that, I don't have a clue, right? I don't have a clue. Okay, so you get the numbers, but yeah, so that's kind of how that happened, and so I moved forward and started doing promotional campaigns, events, go to the clubs and collect email addresses, and so at one point I had the largest email distribution list in the city, I'm sure. And this is before you had MailChimp and those email servers. And I would just copy them all. And then, you forget to do a blind copy. And now you send it. Now everybody has your email list because it's right there. You can see and just copy and paste. And so I would start getting emails from promoters, and I would see like my aunt's email address in California. Like, and I know you didn't get, so I know you got my list. So it kind of became contaminated and less useful because people had their job email addresses. That's really all they had, or their school email addresses. And if they left the job or left the school, they probably didn't carry that email address with them. So you would be sending email messages to non-valid, email addresses. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of sat back on it a little bit. At one point I was doing the video. I would go to the club, videotape the excitement, come home and transfer it to digital, take it off the tape and render it to digital, then edit it, do a little quick edit, then upload it over landline. I would start at 2 o'clock in the morning when I got home, and I would wake up, it would still be uploading to YouTube.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
nobody called.
Yeah, right. Luckily it was 2 o'clock in the morning, so it was like nobody's calling in. So it worked out all right. But it was that's kind of my story, and that's it's been a journey, and it's always been met with some resistance, and it's disheartening because it's this is kind of the FUBU, for us by us thing, and it's like, oh, we don't want you doing this, and I'm like, man, I'm promoting you, and so it's hard, even with the WJLB story, before they had the website.
Yep. I'm gonna
pivot.
We're gonna pivot out here.
Okay.
So we're gonna take a quick break here. When we come back, we're gonna pause on that table and come back to it in a little bit and jump into a few of these Black Metro Eats Restaurant Week joints.
Dope.
When we return on Refrigerator Diaries. All right. So sorry about that. I wanted to just make sure we're making time here. Yeah. So when we come back, I'm just going to be like, yo, we're going to save that for the next time you're on. And then we're going to jump into Black Restaurant Weeks, Side Lots, and then Kwako's got a party called Already Lit, non-alcoholic parties, which, man, do you guys come up with that name on the spot? That's a good name for a non-alcoholic party. Already Lit?
Already Lit.
For real.
I remember that time in my life.
I showed up like
Kendrick Lamar got a lyric that reminds you of that. He say, so you telling me this weed's supposed to get me high? Like, I'm already on 5. You can, that's gonna give me the 2. That's gonna give me the 7. Like, really?
I mean,
I'm already, like, no, I'm straight.
It really is like kind of ingrained in our minds that like to have a good time we gotta turn up.
Turn up, right? And what does that mean, right?
And then it's like we end up forgetting the experience anyway because we were so
high, right?
Fucked up that, like,
yeah, I dated a girl recently.
I was having my fun in the night trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
I
just recently got out of a relationship. She was a stoner, like, professor stoner, just nodding off. I'm like, okay, this ain't me. This ain't me. Like, really?
It's hard when the stone, like, because I smoke a lot of weed, but I also still take pride in getting stuff done, I think that it gets real tough when the weed smoking stops the work.
Yeah.
Then you're like, fuck.
Right.
I liked working with you.
I at some point was using cannabis as like a reward. So like if I had gotten a certain amount of stuff done, now I can smoke because I'm done. Yeah. But if it's not done and I smoke, it's kind of over. Yeah.
You done at that point.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah, and some people have been doing it for a while. They can function. Like, you know, this girl, she would get up in the morning and smoking. Go to bed and smoking.
Mine is usually what's on my mind when I'm doing it. Like, if I know, like, okay, I got to smoke and do this work, I'm going to smoke and do this work.
Yeah.
If I'm smoking and I'm like, I'm about to chill.
And but you got to know how to consume it too. You can't just blow it back and just be like, oh, your flow got to be right. It's in your, you know.
The science behind the marijuana too. I think that like if when you're smoking and you're doing activities,
that's the frame of mind can be. Yeah.
And then the moment you stop, because of how it works, the receptors in your brain are shortened, so you're gonna start forgetting all of the stuff that you were doing in that moment. You think that you're having the best time ever and you're doing all this dope shit, but you're like forgetting it instantly unless you write it down. All right, so we're gonna let's do it.
Okay, everyone, hold tight. Camera's mic's coming back on.
I barely touched this thing; it just dropped on.
Well, that's okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back to #Refrigerated Diaries. What's your RD? I am Godwin from Yum Village with my co-host here, Chris Connections.
Yo.
And we've got Andre Terrell, the cool DJ.
Hey, what's up?
And Kwaku Osei of Black Metro Eats.
Hey.
All right, so Andre, you were telling us a little story. We're going to come to that for our next time when we have you on here on the show. But let's kind of get into this Black Restaurant Week. We've been a participant in Black Restaurant Week for a few years now, and it's always been productive for us. We've loved it ever since the beginning. I think it's something that needed to be done. It was necessary.
Absolutely. I remember the first year was your food truck. And then, so I was telling you the other day that I was so glad to have seen the ascension.
Food truck to
brick and mortar. And that's been a story for a few of the restaurants that have participated where they may have started out as like a caterer or something. And then, or maybe even who I'm dealing with now as the owner used to be like the manager. So like in Le Crepe's situation, Dennis used to be a manager of Le Crepe and then bought his way in to being the owner of the restaurant. So even seeing that ascension has been something that's beautiful with Black Restaurant Week. But again, I think it just comes down to the fact that Black Restaurant Week was meant to be an answer to a problem that existed in the city with regard to Detroit Restaurant Week and its lack of restaurants that were Black owned and operated. And so now that we've kind of moved beyond that answer, it's coming down to what other value can we add outside of just this 7-day period. Because it's one thing to bring people in for a week in August, to say, I did it. I ate at a Black-owned restaurant. That's great. But, did you come back? Do you go back regularly? And when you come back, are you a patron? Are you looking for handouts? Are you looking, what are you doing when you go? And so that's really been the focus for 2020 is making sure that we're adding value there. And so I think that's coming in the form of an event that we're working on with Yum Village called Night Bite. Last year, we did Night Bite for an 8-week run at The Block. And it was a Wednesday nighttime brunch series, which was really, really cool. We had different DJs come in from the city that are local. It was an abbreviated menu of brunch items and drink specials, and it was great. And so now we're looking to switch that up. Godwin's Restaurant Yum Village just recently got their liquor license, so
yes,
shout out to that. And so the possibilities have always been endless, but are now truly endless with that because you've got a few different streams of revenue there. So we're looking to do Night Bite with Yum Village starting in March for an 8-week run. Same concept. And we've got a lot of people that have been shouting out in the DMs like, when are you bringing Night Bite back? And so we're excited to announce that. We're also doing some really cool, I hate to call them sobriety parties because it sounds like something that goes along with Alcoholics Anonymous, but we're doing parties that
non-alcoholic, I think.
It's non-alcoholic parties or non-vice parties where there are not drinks being served. We're doing that with Kiana Broden, the owner of The Kitchen by Cooking with Q. being that that's already a vegan
Shout out to Q.
establishment. Shout out to Q and Dave, my frat brother. Shout out to Dave, her
Praise
husband.
those saints.
Shoot, look, go mob. And so, you know, it's been really, really exciting to kind of step into that space. I think what's ended up happening with Black Metro Eats is that like it's starting to be more of a reflection of like the changes that I'm making in my own life. So I've been drinking a lot less, and therefore my friends have been drinking a lot less. And so when I go to plan an event, it doesn't really make sense for me to be seeking too heavy of like an alcohol sponsor if I don't even intend to indulge in the alcohol. And it's kind of hard for me to advocate for an event that I wouldn't necessarily go to, if that makes sense. And so now that I'm kind of in a space where I'm eating more like from a more healthy perspective and I'm looking to treat my body in a different way, I'm holding myself responsible and accountable in those spaces by throwing events that I truly can vouch for. So,
And this is called the Already Lit.
Already Lit.
Man,
Yes.
I
Also
love
coming in
that
March.
name.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a fan in me. I'm gonna be up in there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. We've got me, the producer, aka Donovan Glover, who will be DJing on a weekly basis. Again, Q's Food, which is vegan, will be there. We're looking to partner with a few non-alcoholic cocktail companies who sell their cocktails already bottled that are non-alcoholic.
Fantastic.
And so it should be really great. Obviously, if you're into vices, you're welcome to come, but just know that night you won't be drunk. At least not on alcohol, maybe on happiness.
So this is Refrigerated Diaries Behind the Food. We always ask our guests to tell us about their most awkward food experience and their most excellent food experience. No name dropping, but we're going to put you on the spot. You just got to give us one.
All right. So most awkward food experience. I had a love interest over. I like to cook.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking
I like to
about.
cook, and you know, some people have this whole thing where like they don't cook for you until this become a serious thing, and I just feel like that's kind of whack because like food is kind of the route to my heart. So if you can't cook, or if I haven't cooked for you, you should be concerned. Like wait, he's not sharing the things that he loves with me, so maybe he doesn't actually love me, and that would be true. And so the sign.
Anybody listening out there is
Anybody
not getting fed.
You're not getting fed. I'm not getting fed. And so, no, I had a love interest. You know, things had just gone down. And let's just say that neither of us were fully clothed yet. But I decided to start cooking.
All right.
Don't cook naked, y'all. Do
do
not cook naked, especially
Don't
with
do it.
hot oils around.
popping.
Is that a
Grease
rule?
popping.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It's just real awkward. So like, I actually have a burn on my foot now from making bacon because I wanted brunch at night.
Hey,
Hey, how do you cook your
I'm
bacon?
making
night bites.
it in a cast iron skillet on the stove.
Okay.
Oil, bacon.
I
It
seen
is
people
popping.
use. I seen people use microwaves. I seen people use ovens.
I'm good.
So.
I'm not using a microwave to make bacon. It's already enough of a carcinogen. I don't think I need to add any more of these rays to it. But I could have put it in the oven. But you know, when you're trying to like really show out, you know what I'm saying? I got the black cast iron over here. I'm working on some stuff over here. I got some waffles going over here. You know what I'm saying? I need you to
Hey, man,
smell
you
the
was doing
aroma.
it, though.
I was doing a lot,
you-
and then burnt the hell out of my foot.
Since you cook, I also take it that you do all the shopping and whatnot.
I do
so-
all the shopping.
You
Trader
do have
Joe's
a-
is my second home. We've been through
Okay.
this.
Yep.
We've been through this.
And you do it with the list, or you come in?
I have a list on my phone that you know, like thankfully, and you have an Android. And iPhones, you can make a list with. I have to shade you a little bit. And iPhones, you
Why?
can make a list because it's like a rivalry. It's like
Team Android.
It's like Howard Hampton. Okay, so you can make a list and then you put the bubbles on the side.
I
to,
see.
Like, check
But
out the list.
I see people do this like a to-do thing. Like,
Yeah. So I do that every week. It's pretty much the same list. Like I pretty much eat the same stuff, and then if I see anything that kind of catches my eye, I'm throwing that in there too.
Okay. So you get those end caps and things are psychologically placed.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I shopped. So I shop the perimeter of the grocery store mostly because that's where you'll find like produce for the most part, and then most of your processed stuff is going to be in the middle. And so you know.
Go inside for the prize.
Yeah, I guess my favorite item right now, purple sweet potatoes
Okay.
have been my thing for like the last month.
Are you baking those or?
No, I'm boiling them and mashing them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm mashing them. I've even mashed them and then made balls and rolled them through panko and fried them.
Okay. well,
They're
I
like
that.
really,
What it
really.
tastes like?
They taste like a sweet potato. They legit taste like a sweet potato, but they are a deep, deep purple. I have a picture. I guess I don't know that anyone will be able to see it besides us, but
There's a camera here that we can.
Zoom in.
I got a pic. I mean, it's
I'm just
very
wondering
vibrant.
why the purple though. Like,
I don't know. It's
Like,
like
would it make you throw
land
you
grows
off?
on.
I think
yeah.
there's something nostalgic about it. I don't know if y'all remember that ketchup that came out a long time ago. They had a green one and they had a purple one. It was like
I
regular
sort
ketchup,
of. I think I
but
know what you're talking about.
it was like it was ketchup and it tastes like ketchup, but it was like purple, and then there was a green one, and I was like really hyped for that. So it's a nostalgic factor.
I'm a visual. If it doesn't visually look like what it's supposed to be,
It should not
Okay,
be.
gotcha.
Yeah, visualization is right there.
So,
So
like, purple.
before we
wow.
we end here,
That
I
is
understand you've
purple,
got
for
a
real.
a good story to tell us about where you live. That's really purple.
Yeah, it's not food coloring.
So what neighborhood you live in?
Jefferson Chalmers.
Okay, man, we're
Yeah,
neighbors,
shout
man.
out,
You
shout
know.
out. Are we? Oh yeah, well, duh, yeah, right there in the village. Yeah.
We got get a bottle of wine on the riverfront there.
Well, let's do it.
You
Let's
know?
do it. I've got a few parks at the end of the block that are really cool. I'm right at the corner of like Algonquin and Jefferson, so like near Connor. And yeah, I'm loving the neighborhood so
Right.
far. Like everything's been really dope. Common Citizen just opened at the corner of my street. So there's a dispensary right there, which is nice.
Okay, I was like, what's Common Citizen?
Yeah, no, it's a really dope dispensary that's been really cool. And then there's a lot of side lots around me.
Uh-huh.
And so I've been buying them up as I can,
Okay.
you know.
And how does that? So you get to buy up side lots just if they're available?
So it
You have to be in the
depends. It
neighborhood?
kind of depends on what the status of the side lot is. So, for example, in my case, I became aware that these side lots were even available because I bought the house. And so I started to get letters in the mail saying, like, there's a side lot that's adjacent to your property. You can buy it for $100. And I was like, bet. But what happens is, let's say that there's like this side lot that's directly adjacent to your property, but then there's more side lots next to that and then a vacant house. So now all those side lots are offered to you and you can buy each one for $100. So that's what I've been doing is like kind of slowly eating through buying up all the side lots that are kind of connected to my property to kind of create an L around the property. So that's the ultimate goal there. But there's just one side lot right next to me that someone else already owns, and I'm trying to get my hands on. So.
I see. Do you like send them like this is on behalf of the community? Because you're going to make it a community space, right?
Right. So I'm looking to do a community garden on the side lots. And then my sister, who's a wonderful interior designer, Akuya Osebonsu, who's also, she's also the head of catering at TCF Center.
Okay.
And so shout out to her. She
So,
just acquired that role. She just moved back home from DC and acquired that role. And so she's an amazing interior designer. So she and I are working on re-outfitting a school bus to make it into a cafe that'll hopefully be fed by the garden. So
see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well, it has been a pleasure having you
thanks
on.
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're just gonna do a couple quick recaps. We're gonna have Brother Terrell on here for our next episode in a couple of weeks.
Sweet.
We'll be back on the 17th with Mike Ransom from
Ima.
Yeah. So catch us on the 17th for that episode. And Night Bites are going to be starting back up here in March at Yum Village. We got some amazing brunch items here. Check out the newsletter for a preview clip. We dropped some grit cakes off to Fox 2 for Super Bowl Sunday. They practically blew their minds.
That sounds amazing.
Fire.
It was amazing. And then Black Restaurant Week is coming back when?
Third week of August.
Third week of
Third week of August, 2020.
Can't wait. And then if you want to submit your sample writings to Black Metro Eats.
Oh, yes. Please send them to Kwaku, which is KWAKU at blackmetroeats.com. Definitely looking for contributing writers that maybe have a perspective that's a little bit different than my own. As of right now, I am the primary contributor, so I'm always looking for more diversified contributions to that conversation.
Definitely. And Chris Connections and myself are going to put our hats in the ring on that.
Cool. Cool. That'll be great. Thanks.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next episode of Refrigerator Diaries.
Boom.